video. For hello and welcome to another video. For today's video, we'll be looking at how to calculate pivot point. How to calculate pivot point. I have on my screen, I have a gold 4-hour time frame. Okay, and basically it is essential that you know the pivot point for gold for the monthly, the weekly and daily time frame. You can even calculate pivot point for gold on the 4-hour time frame and 1-hour time frame, but it all depends on time. The higher time frames, the calculation is a lot easier than the lower time frame, because as you calculate the pivot for the lower time frames, times count, okay, and price might have played out on you before you conclude the calculation as time rolls by. So what I'm saying is that you can calculate pivot for even the 1-minute time frame or the 5-minute time frame or 15-minute time frame, but time plays an important role, and it will be useless, so to say, if you calculate on 5 minutes time frame and then the usefulness has already played out. So now I have the 4-hour time frame. I'm going to use Excel sheet. I'm going to use this Excel to explain how you can calculate pivot points on the 4-hour time frame. I basically calculate that of the weekly. I also calculate that of the monthly time frame. Okay, then if I calculate for the weekly time frame, I will now plot it or arrange the pivot point line, the resistance lines and the support lines on the lower time frame, which is daily time frame. And if I calculate pivot point and the support and resistance lines for the daily, I will arrange the lines on the 4-hour. So if I did my calculation on a higher time frame, I will arrange the lines on the lower time frame so that I can see the possible direction price may play out. Now to calculate for 4-hour time frame, okay, if I'm going to calculate pivot point for this candle, so I'm going to calculate pivot point for this particular candle, this the last candle. Okay, so I will need the high price of the candle. Okay, I will need the low price of that candle. I will also need the closing price of the candle. Okay, so I will need the high price of that candle, I will need the low price of the candle, I will need the closing price of the candle. Now let's say the high price is 1910, the low price is 1900, and then the closing price is 1906. So to calculate the pivot, this is a pivot. Okay, you find the average of these three. You had the three values, you divide it by 3. Okay, and that will give you this. The calculation is here. You had the high price plus the low price, and then the close price divided by 3. That will give you the pivot point. Okay, to calculate the resistance point, just like I have highlighted right side the calculation, you multiply 2 times pivot. Okay, you multiply 2 times pivot and then you subtract the low price. This is our low price, 1900, so that means 2 times 1905.33, the value you subtract by 1900. Okay, that should give you the resistance, the first resistance level, which is resistance 1. Okay, for resistance 2, you first of all subtract the low price. These are low price 1900. You subtract it from high price, then you whatever you have, you had it with what you have for your pivot. This is your pivot. So you had the pivot plus the subtraction of low price from high price. Okay, that should give you the second resistance, which is resistance 2. Then for resistance 3, you subtract the low price. This is your low price 1900. Subtract it from pivot. Then the value you get, you multiply it by 2 and you add it to your high price. This is your high price 1910. Okay, that should give you your resistance 1. Now for support 1, which is your first line of support, you first of all multiply 2 times the pivot. This is your pivot volume, the pivot value. Then you remove the high price. This is your high price. You remove it from the multiplication, what you have, the value you get when you double the pivot. Okay, for support 2, you subtract the low price from the high price. This is your low price 1900. You subtract it from 1910. Whatever value you get, you remove it from your pivot. And then for support 3, you subtract the pivot from the high price. This is your pivot. You subtract it from your high price. This is your high price. And then the value that you get, you multiply it by 2. And then you remove that the multiplication, whatever value you get, from the low price. So that should give you your support 3. Okay, so now if you are going to calculate pivot point for this last candle, we have to look at what is the high price, what is the low price, and what is the close price. Now the high price is 1878.96. So you go to the chart, 1878.96. okay, that's your high price. Then you get your low price. Okay, the low price is 1874.28. 1874.28. okay, that is your low price. Then you also get the close price. The close price is 1875.99. 1875.99. okay, so automatically the Excel sheet will calculate the new values. The most important value is that of the pivot. Okay, and it is good for us to check the pivot of the monthly, weekly, daily, and pivot of the 4-hour time frame. You check and then compare how prices have moved and reacted to these pivot points. Okay, now the pivot point for this last candle as calculated is 1876.41. 1876.41. okay, so to do that, just edit the properties of 1876.41. okay, so that's the pivot point for this particular candle. If you look at what has happened on the candle, the pivot point is below, okay, is towards the lower side of the candle. Okay, if we are going to get the average of the candle, the average length of the candle, okay, let's assume, let me change the color for this to, okay, something like red. Okay, let's assume the average size of this candle is, the average length, the middle of the average length is somewhere around here, but the pivot is lower. Okay, so we have pivot being lower on that candle, and we can also see that this candle also has a wick, more like a rejection. candle has a rejection. All right, so lower pivot, as pivot drops lower, uh, uh, price may tend to go up. Okay, and then as pivot goes higher, price may tend to uh, go down. But for this particular candle, if price is going to go up on when the market opens and price is going to go up, it will tend to touch the pivot first. Okay, price will tend to come lower to the pivot, okay, before going up. Okay, to come lower at first, it will drop lower to the pivot and then go up. Okay, but for now market is closed, so that depends on when market opens. Now if market opens higher, let's say market opens higher above uh, around this point, let me change the color. If market opens higher around this point, okay, so definitely price will react first to the pivot by dropping lower to the pivot, okay, before price goes up. Okay, but if market opens below, like we have a gap, okay, price will also what react, all right, upward towards the pivot, okay, before going down. All right, so that is basically the explanation on how to calculate pivot. Pivot is very important. Price always reacts to pivot levels. Okay, now there are instances where if you have a candle, let's say you have a candle, let's assume this is your candle. All right, this is a bullish candle. Okay, and then this is our pivot. Let's assume this is our pivot. Let me increase the size. Let's say this is the pivot point. Okay, now and you have a bullish candle lapping across pivots. Okay, this is clearly a bullish sign. Okay, this is a bullish sign that price is going to go up. Okay, so if you have a bearish candle, okay, that forms across the pivot, let me change the color of the shape to red. I want to change it to red. Okay, if you have a bearish candle that drops and laps and closes below the pivot point like this, that means price is going to go down. But before price goes down, it may react first to the pivot, okay, more like a retest before going down. Okay, but on the other side, if you have a bullish candle lapping across the pivot point, let's assume this is a bullish candle lapping across the pivot point like this, so price may also react to the pivot point. We may have something like this. Price goes down to test the pivot point before price continues upward. Okay, now there are some instances where we may have like a pin bar. Let's say we have a bearish pin bar. Okay, let's assume we have a bearish pin bar across the pivot point. Let me say this is a candle, and let's say this is our, let's assume this is the pin bar. All right, okay, let's assume this is the wick for the pin bar. Let me change the color to black. Okay, and this is the pin bar candle. Trying to move this. Okay, let's say this is the pin bar candle. All right, so this is a clear indication that you have a reversal in play, in the sense that price may likely go to test the pivot point at first before price will head downward. So your wick, this is the candle wick, the bearish candle wick, like a bearish pin bar, lapping across the pivot. This is your pivot, okay? So this is a clear indication that price may test the pivot before going down, okay? And on the other hand, if it is a bullish pin bar, okay, let's assume, let me change the color. Let me change the color to green or lime, okay? Now we are looking at the reverse of the case we have just, the scenario we have just painted. Okay, let's assume it's a bullish pin bar, okay, and this is the candle, okay, with the wick, okay, lapping across the pivot like this. So this implies that price may test the pivot at first before going up. Price may test the pivot point at first before going up in this manner. So price reacts to pivot points in various ways, but if price goes far away from the pivot point for some time, at times it may tend to come back towards that pivot point to react to it. Now the reaction around the pivot point is very, very important to the traders that use pivot points regularly. Okay, so let's take a look at the calculation one more time. If you have your high price, your low price, and your close price, you calculate using these formulas on the Excel sheet. You calculate using these formulas for the resistance 1, resistance 2, and the resistance 3. Then you calculate using this formula the average, adding all these values divided by 3 to calculate the pivot. Then you use these formulas to calculate the support levels. Okay, so you can calculate for the higher time frame, you can calculate for the lower time frame, and then you can check how price react to various time frames. This is very, very important. Like I said earlier, I normally calculate for the daily, then I will go to the 4-hour to look at how the price is going to move towards the daily pivot. At times I calculate for the weekly, then I go to the daily chart to check how price reacts to the pivot point. Okay, and the candlestick formation on the pivot line, like I said, is very, very important. The candlestick formation on the pivot point line is very, very important. If you have a pin bar lapping across the pivot point, there's a way price will react. And if you have an institution candle, okay, whether a bullish or bearish candle lapping across the pivot, it also has an implication. Okay, price react to pivot points in various ways. You can have price completely reversing at the point or at the pivot point, and you can have price having a continuation across the pivot point. So that's that for today on pivot points calculation. You can click the subscribe button to learn more on how to trade forex and volatility index. You have videos. Subscribe to our channel so that you can see more of our videos. Also click the like button, like our videos. If you like the video, click the like button. Also click the notification button, the bell button below the video, for you to be notified for subsequent videos when we publish them. Also make up a comment, drop your comment below the video, ask question. If you are not clear with any part of the video, ask question. You can go to our website www.binfxtrader.com to learn more on how to trade forex and volatility index. We also have another website, fxfables.com. On this website you get to learn more on the various ways or various strategies you can use to trade forex and volatility index. So till I come your way next time, is bye for now.